That beautiful sci-fi shit. Enemy, I will say that it's definitely the spider at the end.
Helen? Helen?
I was trying to convey a sensation, massive inner terror. It's Jake Gyllenhaal's character finally facing his inner self, and there's something about the way that shot was designed and done that I'm still deeply in love today. The idea is that we didn't have a lot of budget, and it was not we didn't have the budget, and the technology was not advanced enough to create that spider. So the way it was made is that the guy created a mock-up, a tiny mock-up of the room in green screen, tiny replica, and put a real tarantula with the high-res cameras, and then the tarantula was blown up and put in the real room. And that, for me, is one of the best special effects I've seen in my life, because you feel it's real. And that's why I think that so many times insulted, because people were very angry at me because they were too afraid. But it's a powerful shot, yeah. There's a shot that I did, and it was like a very strong instinct to do that shot. A shot that was designed on set that still today is a shot that I feel is absolutely the right shot to do to express what I wanted to say. But it's a very simple shot, as there's a moment where we're stepping away from the characters at the beginning of the film. It's like a shot that expresses a pressure of time and that wants to bring the idea that something ominous is about to happen. It's like a dolly that moves toward the bark of a tree. And it's like that pressure on the bark, that pushing on trees is one of my favorite shots of Prisoners. I remember when we were doing it with Roger Deakins, Roger and I had thought that it would be nice to see Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro squad as the Delta Force are going into the night, and how to convey the idea that they were going in the underworld and they will leave reality and go in a zone of danger, and they will be beyond law, and they will do something that is illegal. And the idea that was to embrace the sky and have the character diving in pure darkness. It's a dolly shot that moves slowly and we pan in the same time. And as the platoon is going into the shadow, they are like silhouettes going into the dark. And it's one that I thought was pretty cinematic. Yeah. In Arrival, I think one of my favorite shots is when Amy Adams needs some kind of relief after having a strange experience in the tent as she's studying the language. She starts to have like some kind of weird effect coming out of learning that language. And she goes outside, and it's a shot, very naturalistic shot, where we're close up on her as she's like trying to catch up her breath and calm down. And you just see the silhouette of the ship out of focus behind. And that's beautiful sci-fi shit. There was something about the old movies encapsulated in that moment where you have that woman being absorbed with emotions that she cannot process, as you have in the same time the surrealism of a ship behind, which feels like a bit like those nightmares where you feel a presence, that tension I was looking for. There's a shot right at the beginning of the movie where we are just above Ryan Gosling's shoulder, where he's sleeping in the spinner. The intimacy of the shot, the idea that came from the book, Do Androids Dreams About Electric Sheep, to see that cop that is a replicant sleeping at the beginning as he is on the journey, as he's heading toward violence. That shot, and right the shot after of his hand being still and of a sleeping being, that I thought was absolutely moving for me to shoot.
For a film like Blade Runner, a lot of people pick out the big landscapes, the colourful shots and the silhouettes. But why do you feel like you connect with those smaller, intimate shots?
Because there's so much humanity in these shots and intimacy that I was looking for, that I feel that right at the beginning I have a window. There's nothing more vulnerable than to being asleep, and to be close to a sleeping character like that. I felt that I immediately connect with him in the most simple way. There's a shot that I'm really fond of. We see his first footsteps in the desert. Time becomes still. I tried to create it as it was like the first footstep of the man on the moon or something. It's the idea that a character will suddenly immerse himself in a new dimension and stepping into the unknown, and to feel the compression of time in that moment where you just follow one footstep after the other. The camera is just just above the sand, and then you see him kneeling in the sand and grabbing a scoop of sand in his hand. There's something so honest about foot and hands, and the way it's like it's absolutely pure. I love shots of hands for that. It's like there's something there you cannot lie. It's like a direct relationship with reality, the action and reality conveyed by the hands. I love. There's a shot where Paul finally rises on the worm. It's a shot that we see his foot, and finally he stand up, he find his balance on the worm for the very first time. It's a bit like where he becomes a Fremen, where he becomes an adult. It's barely described in the book, and I had to imagine the technique, how he will be physically able to jump on a worm, making that look real, dangerous, edgy, possible. To do that, it required a tremendous amount of time and research and development, and it was by far the most complex sequence I ever done in my life. I will be reluctant to dive too much into the technicality of it because I love to keep the magic. So I will say to you, I try to cast not too much of a big sandworm in order to make sure that it will not be too dangerous for Timothée. Seven Samurai, Kurosawa, a samurai is sitting at the bottom of a tree. He knows that thieves are coming his way, and he's looking at flowers. The way he's sitting and looking at flowers at that precise moment, for me still today is one of the most beautiful scenes I've ever seen, that absolutely had a tremendous impact on me. That will be that shot of the samurai sitting among flowers, but stillness, as imminent danger is coming towards him.
For more directors picking some favourite shots from their films, why not check out our videos with Ridley Scott or Damien Chazelle.